All right, Shalom. This is Power Thumb of the Great Millstone Houston Camp, back with another lesson. And before I begin, as always, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shah Ba'asham, Rachakodash, double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessing, and salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of us, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and all the Israelites scattered abroad who have received his truth and who will endure in the truth unto the end, and the saints shall be saved. Now, I want to start here in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1. And this lesson is through the spirit of what's going on in or what happened in Carolina with the brother that had another brother in the camp and was spilling camp information to his brother that was in another camp and giving him a terrible advice. So this is 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 1. And this is in the AMP. Does any of you, when he has a civil dispute with another believer, dare to go to law before unrighteous men, non-believers, instead of placing the issue before the saints, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah's people? All right. So Paul is telling the Israelites in Corinth this. And you had this going on back then, that they're going to deal with Jakes in the world, all right, and on camp matters. All right. You would think Jake would know better. I thought Jake would know better. And that's a sticky situation. Not sticky because we don't, it's a hard thing to judge. Just because his brother, pretty much was, from his brother's mouth, which you can't, trust him, that he, told him to, get with them brothers in North Carolina. All right. This is Charlotte, the Charlotte camp. Right. And they kept contact, and it's his brother. And the thing is, he was already warned and admonished not to be sharing camp information, and he didn't take heed. And he kept sharing camp information, and his brother, not being spiritual, didn't tell him not to do it. Said that now they're gossiping like females, and the scriptures speak against that, as the scripture that we're reading now, and about gossiping and tale bearing. All right. And then you're getting one-sided stories, which of course Jake gonna make himself out to be the victim and brothers out to be the bad guy. For 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1, does any of you, when he has a civil dispute with another believer? So if you got a problem with a brother, as Yahweh Shah said, you go to the brother. All right. Dare to go to law before the unrighteous men, non-believers. So and this is what other camps will do. They'll have a problem with GMS. They'll go and talk about it with niggas that ain't got nothing to do with the truth. Right? And going over there to get bad counsel and advice. It says, instead of placing the issue before the saints, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah's people. The Israelites didn't know this truth. Why would you go to a brother that's not in the camp about the camp you in? Terrible decision making. But Jake, all into himself and all into his money. As the apostle said, and the elders have already said, this Jake, he wasn't down for the truth no more. Or we seen Jakes like that in Houston camp. They're not doing their videos, but they can find time for everything else. Right? I always tell myself and my family, you make time for what you want to make time for. All right? So Jake found more love doing what he wanted to do than serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, as if his job is going to save him. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. All right. And how many times do we go over these basic scriptures and Jake still is falling out over the basics? That show you how when the Lord take the spirit from you, he take the wisdom away from you, and the judgment and the decision making on how to make the proper judgments. Okay. Again, this know also that in the last days which we're living in, perilous times shall come, dangerous times. All right. And you would think Jake would make sure that he on point, since we in these perilous, dangerous times, and we ain't got no time to be making big ass mistakes like that. All right. Let's go here. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 5. Whoso keepeth the commandments shall fear no evil thing. All right. So you didn't have to worry about nothing. It's getting severely judged from the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua if you would have followed the scriptures. That's the commandments. A wise man's heart discerning both time and judgment. So a wise man mind is going to say, we in perilous times. Let me make sure I'm on point. If brothers is wanting me do this, let me do that. All right. Not let me go against the counsel in the admonishment. All right. That's not a wise man. Okay. We know our custom is to, according to Hebrew Israelite heritage, is to reprove, rebuke with all long suffering and doctrine out of love. All right. And from just being around brothers in the camp, I've been around 10 years, a decade, which is not long at all. All right. I've seen how brothers, handle different camp matters over the YouTube and different camps. I seen the videos, and we seen guys like him. All right. Ain't nothing new. Second Timothy chapter 3 and verse 2, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. And that's what he was. All right. His God was his own desires. Okay. And Jake don't be doing nothing. All right. Jake just be doing regular Jake stuff. And you can't get you don't want to do no video because you got to study. You didn't see brothers in the camp still handling camp business, still studying. Like, that's some bullshit. Again, 2 Timothy 3 and 2, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous. Gotta have this. Gotta have that. Never content. All right. And this wicked ass place, Esau, this consumer culture be consuming Jake. And it's truth. They don't want to let go of the world. They still want to be somebody. They still want to be on the scene and people, commending them. Fuck people. Like, real talk. Like, again, a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. These people about to die. And you about to lose your job. It says boasters. Jake want to boast. How you gonna boast in this world without money? The scriptures tell us to boast about how we know Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's what we supposed to be boasting about. And not boasting like, yeah, I got this truth. But if we talking about anything great that we have, it should be this truth. Proud. Jake proud. Jake don't want to listen. Jake want to do what he want to do. All right? The scriptures say pride is when one depart from his maker. Pride is departing from your maker is departing from the scriptures. And if you ain't taking counsel from the brothers, when they bringing out the scriptures and they keep warning you time after time, nigga, you proud. Blasphemers, disobedient to parents, and that your parents in the world and parents in the spirit. Unthankful, unholy. See, look, we got so much to be thankful for, Jake forget. Like this world got Jake in this rat race and they just lose themselves. It's so many things you can lose yourself in. And it'd be just the simplest shit. Right? A job? Study for a test? As brother said, you ain't studying that goddamn long, Jake. Like, you telling me you studying from sun up to sundown? Cut it out. Unholy, without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors. He's a traitor. Heady, high-minded, both of those. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Having a form of godliness, calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite. You know, you got the beard, you put on the garment. But denying the power thereof, from such turn away. And how you deny the power? You deny the scriptures. Jake want to call himself a Hebrew Israelite. You want to count, but you deny the power of the scriptures. You know, which are the words of the scriptures. The true understanding of the words of the scriptures. All right? Again, we didn't sing guys like this. This is Matthew chapter 13 and verse 45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man, which is a prophet, seeking goodly pearls, which represents this truth. All right? So this is a similarity. Who, when he found one pearl, which is this truth of great value, went and sold all that he had. You got to give it up, bro. And bought it. All right? Buy the truth, sell it not. Meaning get the understanding of this truth. Right? That's what you're supposed to be doing. And you didn't have, you had very little understanding, if any. Okay? Your understanding definitely wasn't founded upon Yahweh Shah, which is that rock. Because money took you out. Even if, and it may not have been about money. Jake could come up with an excuse. Let's get that. Excuses. Let's see. This is Luke chapter 12. And let's see. Let me see. Let me see real quick. Excuse. Okay. And this is Luke 14 and 16. A certain man made a great supper and bade many. And sent servants at supper time to say to them that were bidden, come, for all things are now ready. All right. So this is the marriage supper of the Lamb. Okay. Let's see real quick. Luke's. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Okay, there you go. This is Matthew 12 and 2. The kingdom of heaven is like a certain king, which is Yahweh, which made a marriage for his son. And what is a marriage? A joining to his son. And we're ultimately going to be joined with Yahweh Shah in the chariots. But right now, we're in the preparation in the spousal phase. All right. It says, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not. Those was the wicked scribes and Pharisees. And you got wicked Jakes today. All right. Again, he sent forth other servants saying, tell them which were bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner. My ox, my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. That's this truth. You have everything that you need in the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Come unto the marriage. Come to be joined to Yahweh Shah. All right. But they made light of it and went their ways, one in his form, another to his merchants. And the raiment took his servants, And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. All right. And that's the wicked Israelites put to death the prophets back then. So let's go back to Luke 14 and 16. A certain man, as we understand in the other parable, the king Yahweh made a marriage for his son Yahweh, because the second covenant is us being joined to Yahweh. That's why Yahweh said, you can not come to the Father but by me. We got to believe in Yahweh in order for Yahweh to deal with us. Luke 14 and 17. And sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, come, for all things are now ready. And this truth is built upon 7 pillars. Everything is ready. Okay, we got the breakdowns. We got the understanding of these scriptures. And they all with one consent began to make excuse. All right. Everything ready. Jake getting fed, Jake in the camp. Jake was making videos. I seen one video of him with the elder making good points. I'm like, man, this brother on point. And something in my mind was like, some of them Jakes that be eloquent, they be falling out. Something be wrong with them, right? And lo and behold, something was wrong with the guy. Now, I ain't saying like that's every time that a guy, he's well-spoken and eloquent, that he ain't right. But you just gotta, in his truth, you can't be so hasty to credit a brother, right? So you be like, he's on point. If he on point, he on point. It says, okay. And they all with one consent began to make excuse, and first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground. I must need go and see it. That's Chief Ephraim. He talking about how he bought some new land for his wife. All right, and he can't do videos. I pray thee have me excused. So dude want to be excused for almost 2 months to do nothing. Bro, you gotta be out your damn mind to think that Yahweh ain't gonna get your ass for that. Like, while you not doing nothing, you just studying, you think Yahweh like, all right, I'm gonna let him study. And when he finish, he cool, he can get back with me. Come on, bro. All right, you don't know when Yahweh gonna come back. What if he come back within your month? And that's bullshit. And Jake talk about, I need to find myself. I gotta go get this job. Jake don't be coming back. All right, Jake be trying to make it again excuse to not serve the Lord. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen. I go to prove them. I pray have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. All right, so you got Jake getting land. You got Jake working. You got Jake with the wives, right? These things, especially making money in these women. All right, it make you a man of understanding to fall away. So that servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, go out quickly into the streets and lanes and city, and bring in hither the poor, the maimed, the halt, and the blind. So the Lord just gonna replace you with another humble brother. All right, may ain't got the good job, and but that brother is down and devoted to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in this truth. It says, and the servant of the Lord said, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. And that's what's happening right now. The house of the Lord is being filled. And if you don't want to be in the house, get out. Get the fuck out. All right? And if you in the house, you want to be in the house, you got to do what the house requires for us to do. Or you could get the fuck out. That's just how you going to complain with the house rules. That's why the apostles say, if you're not about this truth, you ain't got to tell us nothing. Just get out. For I say unto you that none of those men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. That's why the Lord get the understanding up out of you. You unworthy. The cost of discipleship. Luke 14:25. And there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brother and sister, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. That don't mean you talking shit to your whole family, your children, all right, and yourself. That means you prioritizing Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai and his work and your faith before these carnal things. All right. Any one of these things in your way of going to camp, teaching these videos, you need to reevaluate, examine yourself and correct it. And then we moving on or not. And then we moving on and you moving out. Whoever it is, this apply to all of us. It says, so whosoever do not bear his cross, which is, this truth. You got to carry this truth. And it ain't easy. All right? This is laborer's work. This is hard. And come after me cannot be my disciple. You can't be a follower of Yahweh Shai and learn this truth, and you don't want to go through the rite of passage, putting the Lord first. It ain't going to work. You compromised. All right? For which are you intending to build a tower? Sit it not down first and count it the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it. Lest happily, after he had laid the foundation, is not able to finish it, all that behold it began to mock, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish it, right? Or to finish. Or what king go to war against another king, sit it not down first and consult whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000. All right. So you gotta examine yourself. OK, do I have what it takes? And I remember hearing the apostles when I wasn't even in the camp. I was far away from the camp, about 3 hours away in the country, hearing the apostles go through these scriptures. And I asked myself, do I have what it takes to finish this thing? And I told myself, I made a commitment to myself, my spirit self. Like, I can do it. The spirit had me say, I can do it, and I want to do it. And I was praying night and day to be in the camp. And so far, it's been a decade. Right? The water Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and every day you gotta reevaluate. All right, these things gotta be on your mind when you wake up, you go to sleep. Okay, checking for this, examining that, watching out for Satan everywhere. And then as the Apostle Gabar said this with Peter. Yahweh Shai told him, look, Satan trying to sift you as wheat. He trying to get you up out of here, seeing what angle he could come at. Right? The things that, that's your vice. Or, that take up your time from putting in this truth. Putting more time into this truth, right? I got distracted. I seen a YN. It says, saying this man began to build and was not able to finish. And what king goeth to war against another king, sit it not down first and consult whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000, or else while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassador in desired condition of peace. Right? So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath cannot be my disciple. Now I want to get this right here in the deep seek. This is Luke 14:33, the King James Version. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. Passage context. This powerful verse is the conclusion to Yahweh Shai's teaching about the cost of discipleship in Luke 14:25 and 33. Yahushua was just given two short parables to illustrate the need for careful consideration. The first is about a man who begins to build a tower without first calculating if he has enough to finish it. The second is about a king who must decide if you can go to war against strong opponents. Luke 14:33 serves as the main point, just as someone must count the cost before a major undertaking. A person must be willing to forsake all that they have to be a true disciple of Yahushua. Understanding forsake it not all. This demands for absolute commitment. This demand for absolute commitment is challenging. Of course it's challenging. Of course, the truth is going to challenge you, and that's how you grow in this thing. All right? You go through the challenge, it's hard. All right? You get through it, you've learned a lesson. You gained experience. Your faith is now built up. You're gaining endurance. You're learning patience. Okay? You're learning judgment. All right? You're becoming wise. Of course, it's challenging. It has to be challenging. Okay? If it's comfortable, Jake wouldn't be influenced to change. A helpful explanation is that this verse does not necessarily mean every follower must physically sell all their possessions immediately. That's not what it's talking about. And brothers have given counsel multiple times all the time about being responsible in its truth. You have to handle your responsibilities, and you have to take care of yourself physically. Okay? Now these guys, they was popping their shit, but they was just talking shit. All right? His brother wasn't giving him wise spiritual counsel, and he wasn't on point when he was talking about Great Millstone. All right? Everybody got the bomb jokes to make about Great Millstone, but if, a brother may be rough at first, but brother get admonished. I got admonished. I came in, hair nappy, beard always nappy, like, shit, we about to get up out of here. I don't give a shit. I'm from the country anyways, and like, just, looking like a city boy ain't one of the things that we just take pride in, right? So we got a more rough look, all right? But the brothers was just telling me, like, bro, you can't walk around like you didn't gave up on life. And now, shit. Now look, I take care of myself. I take pride in grooming myself and being handsome and being a man. All right. If I might gotta be charming, and you all rough, you down, that Satan can take advantage of that. Take advantage of you just trying to be too goddamn handsome. Right? It's a balance. Okay? So again, brothers, max out credit cards, don't pay their bills. We don't teach that. All right? And he know that shit. But again, brothers, was on point. He let him run with that narrative. All right? Because he hurt that he don't want to do the work. All right? It says, instead, the core requirement is to release your love of our possessions in our hearts and recognize that everything we have belongs to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right? In essence, is a complete shift in priority and ownership. A disciple must be willing to give up everything, possession, security, relationships, or personal ambitions, if it stands in the way of pushing this truth. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right? So, that was on point. I want to finish off with this precept. I believe it's 1 Corinthians. All right, let's see. 11. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Is it 7? Okay. Yep. So 1 Corinthians 7:29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. All right, the time is short, bro, and it's shorter. All right, it's right. Look, shit could pop off in any second. All right, that alter our reality. Okay, to where we ain't working tomorrow. What the hell you gonna do? You didn't gave up this truth to go to work. What if you ain't working next week? Or in them 4 weeks that you want to take off? That's why Yahweh Shai said, be circumspect and continue to watch, because I'll come in a time where you not watching. And you would think Jake every day would that's the first thing that will be on his mind. Let me watch. But that's not Jake. The first thing on Jake's mind is, how can I get away from Yahweh Shai and get to this money Esau giving out? It says, but this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none. This is a mentality of putting this truth first and not putting your all into that woman, which if you do it, she gonna leave your ass. Right? You trying to make a woman happy in Babylon the Great. She gonna take all your shit with all that time and love that you gave her, all that patience, because she gonna still be talking shit. Because when you do one thing, you gotta continue doing that shit. Right? She gonna get tired. You gonna give her all your love, all your energy, your devotion, your attention. You're willing to change for her. So at the end, once she get enough, she gonna leave your ass. Some bullshit. Why you want to be here? It says that both they that have wives be as though they had none. What wife? Okay, I got a woman, got to take care of, do the thing, handle my responsibilities with. That's it, and that's all. And they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not. So you ain't supposed to have your mind into this shit. You catching hell, something happen, somebody might, go back to the spirit world in your family, okay. It sucks. But you got to keep on pushing this truth. You want to buy some shit, you buy you a car, what you going to do? Fucking take the car to the kingdom? It says, and they that use the world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. See, that's the mindset. Putting Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah first. Because the world to come is eternal. That's what we're supposed to be storing our treasure in and giving all our putting all our investments into. Right? Priorities. We got responsibilities, we handle them. To get to the truth. They that use the world and not abusing it, having their mind wrapped all into this truth. For the fashion of this world passeth away. And his brother had mentioned this, and I'm like, why he mentioning this scripture when you didn't tell your brother that? This 2 Timothy 2:1. Therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushua. That's strong in his truth of liberty. The thing and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who should be able to teach others also. So I know you was taught and edified and being brought up over there. Them brothers be going in up over there in Charlotte. All right? GMS upon precepts. Going in. All right? 2 Timothy 2:3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of a Mashiach Yahushua. And what that mean? Enduring the truth unto the end. And his brother applied, we got to be soldiers in this thing, referring to we got to go to work. We got to handle our business in the world. No. That's talking about learning this truth, teaching this truth, and continue to do that through all the adversity and the obstacle courses put in front of you. No man that warred entangling himself with the affairs of this life. Right? This is the Hebrew 101, the foundation. Don't get all wrapped into this world. Stay away. Right? It can happen. But, that's why you always keep your guards up. That he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. You see how soldier is applied? It's applied to pleasing Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua by pushing his truth. And if any man strive for the masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. See? The masteries is the kingdom. You got to follow the instructions, the laws. And brother, you did not follow the law by going to your brother, all right, and telling matters that don't concern him. I ended off, right there. This is a example to all of us of what not to do. All right, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash Barakatam.